before we actually go deeper into the strategies that we need for each marketing channel to get X amount of customers, we got to understand more about our customers. And then we also got to understand more about the journey that they have to become our customers, right? Because a customer doesn't just become a customer in 1 second or in 1 day. A customer becomes a customer over time. It's a journey that they go through. Some go through that journey very quickly, while others require a lot of follow-ups, phone calls, meeting up, discussing, building trust before they're finally like, all right, I'll buy, right? And so what I want you guys to do is think about your most recent customer, that ideal customer avatar that you guys have. I want you to think about that person. And I want you to ask yourself, how were they made aware, right? Where did this person come from, right? How did they hear about my services or my product? Am I the one who told them? Was it from me reaching out? Was it a friend who recommended my product or service to them? Did they look me up on Google, social media? Maybe they found you on a post that you made. Maybe they found you on an ad that you ran, right? Events. Maybe you went to an event. Maybe it was a workshop like this that you find your next customer. But you have to know, how do they first learn and hear about your product, your service, and your brand? Figure out those places where they first learn about it and double down on the ones that are more successful and don't take that much time, right? So as you're thinking about all the different places or platforms that are going to make your customers aware of you, think about how much time is going to be needed to use that platform. How much money is it going to need, right? With ads, you got to pay. And so that's going to be your awareness strategy. The next strategy you're going to need to create is now the nurturing strategy, right? And so after they've been made aware, we're going back to your favorite customer that recently purchased and you're like, yo, I want more of that person. How did you build their trust for them to eventually say, ah, yeah, he's the guy. He's the one I actually want. Okay, yeah, that's the clothing brand I actually appreciate. I like the values. They got swag. They got it. Like, how is that trust being built, right? And so that's a different strategy than the awareness strategy. You build trust with people you already met, right? Someone you've already introduced yourself to, you already had that initial contact. Now it's time to build trust, right? And so that's a whole different strategy. Another part of the nurturing phase is, how do you stay top of mind? A lot of marketing is just staying top of mind, because if you're out of sight, you're out of mind. And so if people don't have you in their mind when they're thinking about buying a shirt or some drip, or when they're thinking about a video, or when they're thinking about traveling, or when they're thinking about events they could bring their kids to, if you're not top of mind, when that time comes for them to purchase, they're going to go to the next person top of mind. And the thing about with business, as y'all know, corporations are dominating. You know, they got millions of dollars they're spending on marketing and pushing to make sure they stay top of mind, right? Ba-da-ba-ba-ba. Staying top of mind. It's not about getting first-time customers from McDonald's. There's no more first-time customers. There's no more brand new people like, oh, what's McDonald's? I want to learn. Everybody already knows what it is. The point of them still marketing every day, every year, the point of them still spending millions on a Super Bowl ad is to stay top of mind, especially compared to their competitors. So if your competitors are staying top of mind on your ideal customers, you need to work just as hard or creatively to be able to stay top of mind versus those competitors, especially corporations, right? And so we need a strong nurturing strategy. We also need a strong conversion strategy. So now that you've built trust, how are you pushing them to buy, right? How are you creating that urgency that you shouldn't wait to buy now? Because we're about to sell out. You know what I mean? After this season's done, that's it. You're going to be missing out, right? How do you create that urgency after you built the trust, right? But you don't want to build urgency right after you first meet them, because it's a little too soon. It's like, yo, take me out to eat real quick, you know, get to know me a little bit, talk to me nice before you try to get that sale. And so conversion is a different strategy versus the other two. And that takes a little bit more time before they're ready to be converted, right? And so As you think about that favorite customer of yours, go back to that, right? That's your customer avatar. What made them buy? What created the urgency? Think about the first time you met with them. They showed interest, but then there was a period of time and then they bought. What made them buy? What changed all of a sudden? Was it a phone call that you made and reminded them and now they're like, oh yeah, let me buy now? Was it a new release that you made? Was it a special promotion, a discount? Was it a flyer? What was it that finally made them act? And so maybe it could just be they got paid that day. It's Friday, it's the 1st, I got money, I'm going to the grocery store, we getting groceries, everything. Know what triggers people to buy and use that to trigger them more often to buy. All of this stuff that we're thinking about for our strategies, whether it sounds good or bad, is to influence people to act. Whether it's to follow you, to like some of your posts, to share your posts to people who are like-minded, or to buy. Whatever it is, you have to influence people to do that. They're not just gonna do it for free, even your friends. I learned that the hard way, thinking, yo, my friends will see my content. They don't mind that it's not that good quality. They don't mind that I just shot it and I didn't really take my time to script it out or think about it. They'll just like it, share it, and support me. No, that's wrong. Business is business. People want the best product, best service. So even though you're my teacher, I'm not gonna lie, I did take my girl go kayaking up in Newton. I did think about the Lynn one. And sometimes you actually have the good quality product or service, but if you don't deliver the message and show people and tell people that this is great quality product or service that you can't get nowhere else, if you don't express that in your marketing, I'm just gonna go to the next person who does a good job marketing it. Their product could be ass, but because they marketed it in a nice way, I liked it, it was presented very well, I just buy. And they made the process easy. Another part of the journey is making the process easy for people to buy. Don't make it hard, right? Like, don't make them have to search for the pricing or have to search for where to buy it, how to buy it, what processing payments you accept. Do not make it hard for people. Don't make them have to go from your Instagram to your bio to then to your website to do something. Try to just send them directly to the website with the link on the story, right? Make it as easy as possible as you can. And so the last part of the strategy as we're thinking about our journey is the loyalty. After they've bought, we got them to convert. They've bought our product or service. How do we get them to be a brand ambassador to tell others? Because most likely someone in their family is just like them and needs your product or service, or someone in their network, someone in their personal network, business network, work network, someone that they know needs your product or service and they can tell them, but you have to tell them that. Sometimes our friends and family don't know how to support us. So if we don't create a strategy to make sure we're letting people know, hey, you know, this is the ideal target audience I'm looking for. It's this disposable income, these types of behaviors and patterns. If you ever seen that throughout your day and your life, make sure you recommend me to those people, right? Tell those people about me. Make sure you're doing that. Like, you have to ask for that and you have to have a strategy. Same with your clients, your past clients. You know, with the video, this is something that I do. If I haven't worked with you in 2 months, I'm following up. Hey, how you doing? Just want to follow up. You know, 2 months ago, we did this video. Want to see how that performed for you. I know we talked also about this. Wanted to follow up, see if there's anything we could do to start getting that in motion, because I know you got this campaign coming up. Then I also got another follow-up that's coming in 6 months, right? And then after 6 months, I kind of take them out the funnel. But you got to have a process of following up with past clients and making sure you get Google reviews. Now, as we think about the customer journey again, right? And as we're thinking about where customers are coming from, this is the money tree we are trying to grow. You know, this is what we want. But the money tree gotta have roots, right? So we gotta water it. It's a seed. It's starting off as a seed. We gotta water it and the roots gotta build. And so when we first start our business, we just got the seed. And the first root that comes from that seed, referrals is typically the first root that grows out of our seed, right? Because as soon as we start in our business, we're telling our friends, our family, the people in our network, yo, I'm doing this. What you got? Who needs this? I got you. I'm gonna hook you up. Boom, boom, boom. Because you're just trying to grow that portfolio and get that experience, right? Referrals is literally the easiest. Like, people will buy so much stuff if their friend told them, yo, it's good. I vouch for them. I bet. I don't even need you to build trust with me no more. I've already gone in for my friend. And so word of mouth is really that. It's big. It's very big. And so that's the first one that we usually get. The second one is organic social media. So as soon as we start getting the referrals, now we want to show online to everybody, yo, this is what I've been doing with these past clients. This is what I'm doing with my business. These are the product services that I offer. You want to introduce yourself, right? We can't be everywhere at once. And so you might know like 10,000 people. You might have like a few hundred contacts in your phone. You're not calling them all because you don't got the time to. You're also not going to be able to go and meet with all of them. But social media allows you to do that. One video of you introducing yourself or just letting your people know, this is what type of time I'm on now. This is what I'm offering now. This is what I'm on right now. Letting people know that with the video can reach half of your contacts on your phone. Well, maybe all your contacts on your phone plus half of the people that you actually know, right? And so social media is usually the next platform or route that helps build our money tree. And sometimes it's not a straight line. Sometimes, you try to get people from social media to buy and it's like, it goes up, it's taking long, right? Like the organic isn't always promised. It's not a straight road. I post, get customers. It's not like that. It's a long-term play with social media, especially organic, non-paid social media. That's a long-term play. What you're doing with that is trying to build trust and stay top of mind and nurture, right? And build a little bit of awareness. Then the third one is the organic Google. Now, Google should be the first platform that you sign up for. As soon as you're like, yo, I want to do this business or this side hustle and try it out, Google should be the first platform you open because Google, this is where people are actually searching for your product or service, right? And I'm going to tell you guys the difference with the others, but no other platform are people actually actively searching for your product or service except Google. Like people are actually on Google searching for moving companies, kayaking places, clothing, specific type of clothing, video production. I want to go to Colombia, excursions, travel agency. Like people are searching these keywords. And if you're not popping up top 3 results, top 4 results, then you're out of sight, out of mind. And so you gotta use the Google platform, which is all free, so that Google can rank you higher when people are searching for your type of products and services. And so it's, another pathway. It's a long-term play with Google as well. Very long-term, in fact, more long-term than organic social media. And the reason is because there's not a lot of strategies to actually have you rank higher on Google. It's kind of like your credit score where you can have everything good on your credit score, but if you don't got the experience, the history of a long credit, if you hadn't been with that credit card for 7 years, 8 years, then you're not gonna get those benefits of a long history credit card. Same with Google. If you just started that Google profile, they're not gonna rank you higher than a business who's on Google for 10 plus years for that product or service. So Google is choosing whoever is the best to be at the top results. And I'll tell you guys one thing. Think about the times you guys are hungry and want to order some food and you go on Google Maps and you're like, yo, what are we about to eat? You're on Google Maps, you're searching best Dominican food. Si Baño's gonna come up, Tipico's gonna come up. I don't know about the third option. But to be honest, after the first 2 or 3, I'm not really looking down anywhere else. I'm like, all right, these 2 to 3, look at the photos, cool. I bet we're going with this one. Who goes to the second page results of Google when you search for something? Nobody, right? And so that just shows you how important it is to rank high on search results. And remember, these are people searching for your product or service. They already are ready to buy. They have the intent, they got the money, they got a budget. They want to buy. Paid ads is another one, right? This is the fourth one you start establishing later on after you've already solidified these channels, after referrals are already automated and bringing you customers all the time. Same with social media. Social media is already buzzing. People are contacting, sharing. Same with Google. You might get a few Google phone calls. After all of that is solidified and you're posting and managing those consistently, and then you're getting customers and actually getting money and revenue and profit, put some of that profit into paid ads, right? Because you gotta pay to play. Paid ads allows you to invest money similar to a stock and get a return, right? So when you put $5 on Meta ads, which is Facebook and Instagram ads, when you put $5, it's because you're expecting to get 2-3 customers from that. Those 2-3 customers spent this much money, right? And so now you're looking at a return on investment. When you think about something like social media, you're putting in time, not money, because this is free, that's free. They don't require money, but they require time, right? You gotta be posting all the time. You gotta create a strategy. You gotta nurture. You gotta follow up on comments and likes and things of that nature. Google, you gotta post all the time. Google, you actually do have to pay because you need a website, right? A website will help you rank higher. You also need content that's posted a lot on your website to rank higher as well. And so all of these, it's not a direct return of a customer. So you can make a post on Instagram and you can get 0 customers from that. Whereas with paid ads, you're most likely gonna get a lead. It's a little bit more guaranteed because there's AI that Meta uses and Google. These are some of the biggest companies that we have in the world, top 5 companies we have in the world. And one of their biggest revenue streams is their ads, right? Facebook is profitable because of ads. We don't pay for it as a consumer. So how do they get money? From their ads, right? Companies like us paying them to run ads through their platform. So the reason why that platform is so profitable with their ads is because they have an AI that is learning about your target audience. It's constantly learning, and that's what AI does. It's constantly learning and improving the ad strategies that you employ. Same with Google. Google is constantly learning about your ads and how to target, okay? There's also the other, like if you go to an event, that's another route that you can build. PR, email, newsletters. There's so many other ways you can get a customer to start buying. But like I said, these 3 are the ones you should focus on first and then paid ads after. And so now let's actually start talking about the individual marketing channels. As we talk about the first one, referrals and word of mouth, keep in mind that referral leads have the highest likelihood to convert. Like I already mentioned, because of the trust factor of a friend telling you, I vouch for this product or service, it immediately builds that trust. And so it's more likely to convert, right? And it's also more likely to convert faster, right? So people are going to go through that funnel a lot faster if it's a referral. Like I mentioned before, it's very great for high ticket products or services. So anything that costs $1,000 or more is considered a high ticket product or service. Like I mentioned, those take a longer time to get people to convert and buy those types of products or services. But if it's a referral, you can get those purchases a lot faster. And I remember that's happened to me, meeting a restaurant, which was a referral. And I only had one meeting with the restaurant, sent a proposal right after, and I was able to book them on a monthly contract, well over $1,000. And that was only because of the referral. If I did not have that referral vouching for me, like really vouching for me, I would not have been able to cold call that restaurant, sit down with the owner and get that transaction. So referrals are very, very good. I want you guys to be intentional about creating a referral strategy, right? And so as we're building our marketing plan, like I said, you're going to be intentional about your referral strategy. And of course, we're going to use ChatGPT to brainstorm the foundation of your referral strategy. And so when you're on ChatGPT, and like I said, it's going to have to be under the same thread that already has your revenue goals. And so it's very important because ChatGPT will then create the strategy based on the revenue goals and the breakdown of your customers that you need on a monthly, weekly basis. It will give you the exact strategy you need for that, right? And then including how to track that. Right? And so the next prompt you're going to do after you ask ChatGPT to break down the metrics that you need and then the strategy in order to get those metrics. After it breaks down the strategy, then I want you to ask ChatGPT to create an example customer journey of a referral. So that way you guys can get some inspiration about where these referrals are going to come from and what kind of a journey will they go through in order to become customers, just so you can understand your referrals a little bit more. Like I said, referrals don't cost much. And on this conversation, it already knows about the painting company. You'll see it in the workshop #1 video. I already had ChatGPT calculate how many customers this real estate painting company needs. I've already told it who my target audience is and described all of that. And so it gave me back that I need 56 customers. And then it broke down all of the metrics that I need for each marketing channel. Because like I told you from the workshop #1, we already broke down how many customers we need from each marketing channel. And so because it already knows that, it already knows how many leads we need, how many engaged leads we need. And so it breaks that down and gives me a whole strategy, right? And so as you can see, activate existing and past customers plus realtor and landlord networks to consistently send 1 or 2 referrals each every 1 to 2 months, right? So you're talking to past clients, nurturing, how can you nurture, right? Build a Google form, Calendly link, some pro tips, conversion, right? Advocacy and retention, that's the loyalty, making sure that they refer after your referrals, refer it to other people, right? Gives you some weekly tasks that you can start thinking about, quick summary, and then you can continue to go deeper with ChatGPT to describe more about that referral strategy. You're not gonna use the strategies ChatGPT gives you. I'm gonna be honest with you. It's okay, but it's a good starting point, right? This is all just to build that foundation for your strategies for all these marketing channels. Your job is to edit that to your brand. Also, you are comfortable with, right? Because you might not be a person who wants to use Instagram or Facebook or TikTok or whatever it is. So whatever active marketing channels you want to use are the only ones you're going to actually work with ChatGPT to create. All right, and so now let's go into the other platforms. Let's talk about the organic social media. For the sake of this workshop, I'm only going to mention Instagram, but this pretty much applies for Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. They kind of all share the same elements and characteristics. And so for Instagram and the other social media platforms, they are ideal for building community, getting engagement, and building out your brand, as well as visually showing off your products and services, right? But like I mentioned before, we do have to remember that social media, people are not on there to be sold to, right? People are on social media for entertainment. And so when we're marketing on social media, we're actually interrupting them, right? And that's called interruption marketing, right? We're actually interrupting their alone time or their me time for entertainment. And so with that in mind, when we are posting and creating strategies for social media, it's not to sell. It's actually to educate, entertain, or provide some type of value, whether it's inspiration, ideas, a lesson. Provide value versus selling when it comes to social media, because when people, like I said, some people do it in the morning, some people do it during lunch, some people do it during work, some people do it after work, some people do it right before they go to sleep. Whenever they choose to scroll on social media, they are choosing to use that time to scroll for entertainment mostly, not to be sold to. And when you think about TV, right? Why people don't use TV no more? Why is TV viewers going down? Because of the ads, those commercials. A 30-minute episode is really 20 minutes because we got 10 minutes of ads. A 1 hour episode is really like 40 something minutes because we got 15 minutes of ads. People switched to Netflix, Hulu, especially when they first came out, because there were no ads. People were willing to pay just $7.99 a month for free, no ads, watch as much content as you want. And so how people consume content and how they perceive ads and marketing is a lot different than it was before. people don't like to be sold to, right? And so keep that in mind when you're thinking about your Instagram, right? And we're going to be strategic. We're going to be creative. So that way we're entertaining and providing value, right? And so this is the strategy it came up with for Instagram. Like I said, I just copied and pasted everything. The only thing I changed was the budget. I put with a budget of $50 per month for organic. Now that $50 could go to a video editor, that could go to someone managing it, whatever that $50 you could use to spend, maybe an IG influencer. Like I said, it already knows how many total projects this real estate painting company needs to reach its 2025 revenue goals. And so we already broke down how many customers we expect to come from Instagram. It chose 7% of the 56 projects that we need, right? And so going back to that funnel, if you need 4 customers to come from Instagram, it doesn't mean you just need to reach 4 people on Instagram. You're gonna need to reach thousands of accounts who are gonna first be aware. Then out of that 1,000 accounts you made aware, maybe 700 of them are now following you and are now waiting to build trust before they buy. And then out of that 700, maybe only 200 of them are actually did build that trust with you, actually do fall in line with your ideal customer avatar and are actually interested. And out of that 200, now you can only convert 2%, 3% of that, right? So you might only be able to convert 5 people, 10 people, 20 people, 30 people out of that 200 interested people. But to get that 20, 30 people who are actually trying to convert, you need to reach X amount of accounts on Instagram. And so Instagram metrics gives you a whole bunch of insights and metrics and things you can monitor. The ones you need to care about are going to be your required reach, right? Accounts reach is going to be the first one you care about. That's awareness, right? So if you're doing a video and you're like, yo, with this video, I just want everybody to see it. That's awareness, right? So you need to have content that's just getting awareness. That's why you'll see some people doing the TikTok dances, the viral dances. Even if they're a real estate agent, they're doing some of this trendier stuff because they want awareness. They want people to share it, right? And the problem I'll say with that is you can follow these trends to go viral, but guess what? You're going viral to people who are not your ideal target audience. So what's the point of having 1,000 followers, but only 5 of them are actually your target audience, people who actually fit what you're looking for and will buy? What's the point of having all 1,000 followers? I'd rather have 100 followers, but 50 of them or 20 of them are actually people that would buy my product, but are just waiting to build that trust, right? So it's not about how many accounts reach, it's about making sure you have the right accounts reached, right? But nonetheless, that's the top of the funnel. That's the first metric we're looking at for Instagram. The second metric we're looking at for Instagram is profile visits, right? So after you've reached them, this video reaches a non-following account, and Instagram will tell you how many accounts reach that are not following you. After you've reached them, how many of them go to your profile to visit, right? That's a lot lower of a number than how many accounts you've reached, right? So as you can see, 50,000 reach, but only 10,000 actually went to the Instagram page, right? And then out of that 10,000, how many followers did you get, right? Your follower growth, right? Now you're seeing, okay, follower growth will give you a good insight to, am I posting the right content? Am I targeting the right people, right? Because if I'm getting 50,000 people on my accounts and all of those are non-followers, but we're only getting 1 or 2 follows a day or a month, something's off. I'm reaching people, but I'm reaching the wrong people. That's why they're not following. So you need to adjust something, right? So monitor, after you monitor profile visits, monitor how many followers you actually get from that, right? Then after that, you're gonna monitor your average engagement per post, right? That's important because after they followed you, right? Are they liking? Are they commenting? Are they sharing? Are they saving? How are they interacting with your post? That will let you know, are you actually building the trust, nurturing, and staying top of mind with these new followers, right? So keep monitoring that. And the last one is the sales, right? Out of all the followers that you've gotten from all the posts you've been making, Who actually called? Who actually went on your website, right? Who actually booked? Monitor that especially, right? Like I said, ChatGPT will help you kind of work with your budget to create a strategy. And so as we go down, like I mentioned, it was 50,000 people to reach. It will actually break down what are some ideas and strategies you need to reach that. So it's saying 3 to 4 times you need to be posting, whether it's a photo, a reel, a carousel. It's going to say hashtags. I will recommend for Instagram, follow the CEO of Instagram, Adam Mosseri or something like that. He's posting videos weekly describing the updates Instagram is going through, right? Weekly, sometimes bi-weekly, he's answering people's questions, but he's very transparent about the platform and how businesses and creators can benefit and monetize that platform. And so one of the things he came out with maybe a month ago was that hashtags don't mean anything. He said it straight up. Hashtags don't mean anything anymore, right? Keywords are still very important because someone still might search video production on IG. And if you don't have those keywords in your caption, you're not popping up as a result on IG or Facebook or TikTok. So keywords in your captions for your products and services and your brand and your location very much matter. Some people still go to hashtags and search for ideas and inspiration. So it's important to at least have a few, the major ones that you need, right? But again, it gives you that strategy for awareness. It gives you a strategy to how do you actually grow your followers and gain that interest? How do you now get those followers to like and engage more with your post? How do you get them to actually initiate an action, which is going to your website, creating a call, booking a meeting? What are the strategies for all of that? Your monthly content plan. And so this is what I mean about you having to edit. This you can keep like, yeah, I need to do 3 to 4 posts per week, but it may not be this, right? You're gonna have to tweak what you wanna post, right? And talk with ChatGPT, it talks back. Talk with it and let it know, these are the ideas I have for posting. What do you think about that? Instead of doing before and afters, I'm actually thinking about doing a carousel or this type of video. What do you think? Will that work? Talk with it back and forth about your strategy until you're happy with that strategy. Test the strategy for a few weeks, come back, see how it did. This is the second prompt in terms of the customer journey. It will give you an example. And so for this real estate painting company, let's say it remembers my customer avatar. This is from workshop number 1. It remembers the customer avatar. And it's able to say, all right, this person, they were scrolling on their Instagram after work. They saw a reel showing a dramatic before and after of a rental repaint. And because of that, they watched the reel and clicked on my Instagram profile, right? What did they see on my profile? They saw a clear bio. Okay, cool. They saw some highlights. So if they wanted to see more before and afters, they can click through that. They saw some recent posts. They saw me working with a landlord. They have a testimonial that they also might have watched, right? And so after they clicked on my profile, maybe they click on my pricing info highlight. Maybe they click in my bio to go check out my website. Maybe they save the post for later, or maybe they DM me with a question like, hey, I see you do real estate painting, saw your video, wanted to know if you actually do commercial real estate, right? And so again, this is understanding how a person on Instagram could become a customer. You have to know the journey for how that happens, so that way you can replicate that journey often, make it faster and more efficient, and also as less costly as it needs to be. The whole time I didn't know before and afters is how people are gonna buy, and I'm sitting here doing all other types of content. I'm just wasting time putting all this work on this content. Whole time my customers on Instagram are buying from before and after videos. And so you gotta analyze, you gotta test, then you gotta re-strategize. So nurturing, same thing. So after they followed me, they've checked out my profile, they see my story another day, I'm building that trust. A week later, they see my story. A month later, they see another post, right? They're interacting, they're commenting on a post. I'm commenting back, replying back, saying thank you, right? Another thing, as soon as someone does follow you, reach out to them, DM them. Yo, thank you for following. They're following a business, not a personal. So if they're following your business, reach out to them. Oh, thank you for following. Real quick, this is my business. This is what we do, what we offer. This is what we're about. Want to know maybe how did you hear about us? and what were you hoping to get? So that way we can tailor that to you. Build that relationship with each follower. I'm telling you, it's like going to a restaurant and the waitress takes the time to say, is this your first time here? Oh, cool, really? Here's what we offer, here's what we do. Let me show you the menu. When a waitress or waiter does that, you're feeling more comfortable and opt to spend more because you feel like you're building that relationship. And that's why the bartender, you know, the girls on the bartender, they're always trying to get you to buy more drinks, right? They know how to talk to you, how to smile to get you to buy more. Same thing, that's just life, right? People work with people they like, right? So this gives you the whole journey of a typical follower on Instagram on how they can come from first being aware to all the way to actually becoming a customer, right? And so that's what we're doing for each of the platforms. We're doing that for Instagram. We're doing that for Google, right? Same thing with Google. Like I mentioned with Google, this is the most important platform. Why? Because people are already searching for your products and services on Google. Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, they're trying to be entertained. Google, I have a problem right now. I need a solution right now. The urgency is there on Google. Most people are already on Google because they need it this week, next week, now, right? And so if they're already there, you got to pop up first few results. And so this is when you're going to have ChatGPT create the strategies you need for Google now, right? Now the metrics look a lot different for Google. We're looking at impressions, right? We're looking at website clicks, phone calls, address taps, right? We're looking at different metrics for Google. Like I said, everything is in the same thread. I just scrolled down and I told it the same thing I just told you, copy pasted. The only thing I changed was the budget for Google. I put to $0 because you might not need to spend anything for Google organic. It takes that information, looks back at the calculations it made from workshop number 1. Each platform or each stage of the marketing funnel, it's calculating, okay, you're gonna need to get 16,000 Google impressions, right? So what that means is when people are searching for food near me and you pop up on the top 5 or top 3 and they see it but scroll by it, that's an impression. And so you need 16,000 of that to be able to get a few website clicks, only 500. So out of 16,000 impressions on Google, now you only have 500 website actual clicks. From those website clicks, you might only get 120 leads that you're on the phone call with. And out of that, you actually only get 6 paying customers, right? And so it's important to, like I said, to know the metrics for each of that for Google. So that way you can monitor, am I reaching what I need to reach on Google? If not, then I probably can't expect to get the amount of customers that I need to get from Google. And then you can make the adjustments that you need to make, right? And so quickly going down, this is the customer journey. Same thing, copy paste for customer journey. It would then tell you where this person comes from. So Maria searches for help online after walking through the scuffed apartment. So she's walking through her apartment. She's saying, damn, we haven't painted in years. I got guests coming over, my in-laws coming over. We need somebody to handle this. I don't have the time or expertise. So they're searching for rental property painting Saint-Lemain, interior repaint for landlords, repainting between tenants. So actually this is a landlord who is going through the apartment and realizing I need a painter. And so you need to know what are the search phrases your customers are going to be putting in for your product and service, right? When we talking clothing, what are they putting in, right? Are they putting in essentials, right? If you have clothing like essentials, are they typing that in? Clothing like essentials, low discount urban clothes, like what are they typing in so that way you can pop up as a perfect solution. And then the third platform is going to be the Meta paid ads, right? The paid ad is going to be great for building awareness, but more so for targeted awareness. So with paid ads, you get to target who you want your content to reach. The age demographics, the gender, the interests, the behaviors, who else they follow, all of that. Same with retargeting. Like I said, the Meta ads learns. So once you do that first ad to build awareness, Meta is learning, okay, when we did this ad to build awareness all over Lynn, Saugus, Salem, we realized that people who were from 40 to 55 were the ones who are interacting with this post the most and going to your profile to follow. So when we retarget, we're gonna only target those people because that's the one that was interacting with your post the most and engaging with it, following, liking. And so the first few ads you run with Meta should only be awareness ads, and it will actually ask you what kind of an ad this is. Meta will ask you, is this an awareness ad? Is this an engagement ad? Is this a conversion ad, right? Because Meta recognizes those are 3 different strategies, 3 different ways to communicate to people, and 3 different people at a different stage. And so when you tell Meta, I want an awareness ad, you set that up, Meta is going to start to learn about your audience and how to better target your audience with the ads, right? And so you'll copy this, change the budget, do the same thing for customer journey. You'll copy this, paste it to ChatGPT. ChatGPT will give you all the strategies that you need. And so the last one is going to be the Google paid ads, right? This one is going to be best for immediate visibility and capturing that high intent leads who are ready to buy. Google paid ads is a shortcut. Like I said, SEO, that takes years to build the history you need on Google before Google is like, all right, this business, I'm gonna rank high. Because Google is looking for reviews. It wants X amount of reviews. It wants X amount of years on the platform. It wants a website. On that website, it needs to be updated monthly. It needs to have content. It needs years of that to see that. And Google is constantly sending what they call crawlers to crawl your website. What these crawlers do is they're gathering data on your website about your products, your services, what you offer, the pricing. It's gathering all that data so that way when people are searching for something similar to that data, Google's like, oh yeah, we crawled this website and we realized they have these answers to your question. We're gonna promote that website first or second or third, right? And that's for any type of product that we have. And so always write text on your website. Never just do a picture with text, right? So if we're talking the kayaking, if you have a nice flyer, that's cool, but write what's on the flyer as an actual text on the website so Google can pick up those keywords because Google can't read flyers, you know? So same with anything that we're doing. If it's a brochure, a flyer, or a video, have that, but also write the text. Even if it's not for the customers, sometimes like when I work with restaurants, I'm like, yeah, most of the times people are not gonna really read your about us section or all this extra text that we're writing. That's more so for Google. So Google can crawl, notice those keywords, and then promote when it's needed. And so Google paid ads is a shortcut because while you're waiting to build that history, you can just pay to be #1 result, right? Every time you do a search on Google, I want you guys to take a look at the sponsored results that pop up first. Those are your competitors who bought a spot to pop up first result. And I actually want you guys to, when you go home and you're creating these strategies, go home and search up your keywords for your business, right? So search up kayaking near me and see what pops up and see if any pops up as a sponsored ad, right? Do that for your Google strategy and look at your competitors to see who is running ads and why. And so to sum it all up, okay, I should do an ad campaign for awareness, $30 a month, then retarget that same group of people who are already made aware and they've interacted with my content. I'm gonna retarget them at a lower price, right? I'm gonna focus on these cities, and ChatGPT, because it already knows the demographics of my customer avatar and what locations I need to prioritize, it's already gonna tell you what you need to target for your ads. So you don't even need to do that work on how should I target, what should I target, all of that stuff, right? And like I said, once it gives you that strategy, talk to it back, give it some rebuttals. Hey, I see that you put this. Well, what if I can't afford $50 every month? What if it's just $20 a month? Is that realistic? Do you think I can actually get X amount of customers with that budget or with this time frame, right? Or I don't have a lot of time to create the ads, so I can only do 1 ad. I know you told me to do 2 a month, but I can only do 1. Is that realistic? What should I change, right? talk to it like an assistant or a consultant, and it will talk back. So now that we have all the strategies that ChatGPT created for us, we have the metrics for each marketing channel, we have the strategies for each marketing channel. I want you guys to spend like 2 weeks at least really thinking about that strategy, filling in the details, moving things around. And then for the next quarter, like next 2-3 months, you're gonna be testing out those strategies, seeing what works, seeing what doesn't work. And if you don't know much about your customer and what platforms they're on and what their behaviors are and how to push them through that customer journey, go outside and find your customers and talk to them. Even if you're not charging them or asking them to buy anything, just be like, yo, listen, honestly, I'm just trying to learn more about my audience so that way I can serve you guys a lot better. I just want to know, what platforms do you use? Okay, cool. Have you bought this before? Oh, you have? What companies? Why did you buy it? How did you hear about them? Okay, cool. Really go outside and understand your audience, ask them questions, and really learn about their behaviors and what makes them buy your product or service so you can replicate. Everything that we're doing here is not just to market, but to market in the most efficient and cost efficient way possible, right? We want to save money, save time, and we also want to systemize. I don't want you guys having to every week physically post the content or every week physically create the strategy. That's too much work. You end up becoming you just become a marketing director instead of whatever it is you're supposed to be doing in your business, right? And so I want you guys to systemize it using ChatGPT, using the Meta platform, which allows you to schedule your content so you don't got to schedule it. You create the captions with ChatGPT, you create the strategies, the ideas with ChatGPT, right? And then use the other softwares to maybe create the videos or edit the videos, things like that. And so last but not least, you'll notice all the strategies require you to post content, right? How do we systemize the marketing so that way our full-time job doesn't now become creating content and posting content? Because I've been there before. We spent more time marketing the event than actually making the event what it needed to be, right? So our job is to make sure our service or product is the best it can be, and it has a plan to get better and better. But we can't do that if we're too busy posting, replying to comments, all that other stuff, right? And so there are sites like Fiverr and other sites where you can pay for a virtual assistant, or you can pay for a social media manager at very low cost, lower than $5 an hour, depending on what type of experience you want them to have. And so there are ways for you to, delegate this type of work. But in the beginning, keep it simple and focus on the channels that are going to be more likely to convert customers for your product. And it's also easy for you because you understand that platform, right? And so going back to the content is needed for all those platforms, except referrals. Referrals is like you actually contacting someone, right? But when it comes to the social media, the paid Meta ads, Google organic, website, all of that is going to require content. And so what is content, right? Content is going to be videos. It's going to be downloadables like PDFs or digital files. It's going to be online text, right? On your website, your blogs, your articles. It's going to be visual graphics, flyers, presentations, right? Or it's going to be interactive quizzes or tests that you could have on your website or on like Instagram and Facebook stories, right? So these are all the types of content you need to be putting out on all of those platforms. Some platforms do better. Like, you're not going to be putting text on Instagram. You're going to be putting videos and photos, right? And you can also put some quizzes on your story and be more interactive, have polls, have people giving you feedback and suggestions of your company, bring them along the journey with your story and make that interactive, right? But on your website, it's going to be text heavy, right? We're going to write out everything. We're going to have some videos on the website. We're going to have some visuals on the website. We might even have some downloadables for consumers on the website. Of course, video content reigns supreme, right? Video content is the best form of content compared to all of this because it combines a majority of it all. right? You're gonna have animated motion text on your videos. You're gonna have graphics on your videos. You're gonna have photos, moving photo in your video, right? And so there was a report made by SEMrush, right? And so when they asked their respondents, 45% of them said that video content performed the best, and the respondents were businesses. So the business, 45% of businesses said that, yeah, video content performed better than any other platform. And then when it came to consumers, 51% of people are more likely to share a video to their friends versus any other content type, right? So videos are more likely to be shared, as well as more likely to actually perform good and get you customers, right? And so video, again, is one of the best ways, and photos, but videos are better, to express your target audience that they belong there. And so that brings me to my next workshop, right? Which is how to actually shoot some of that content with just your iPhone. iPhone, it can shoot 4K, it can shoot 1080p slow motion as well, but it's not gonna be good immediately. You gotta download a camera app, you gotta play with the settings, you gotta unlock certain features and enable it to get the most out of your iPhone, which is why next class I'll show you guys how to start creating some content with the iPhone, how to take some of the angles, the compositions, maybe some light editing, because I know you guys don't have the time to not only learn about video and photo production, but you guys also don't have the time, if you even knew how to create the content, because again, you're supposed to be in your business doing what you need to be doing to make your product and service great.